In the vast, unforgiving plains of the Serengeti, where survival is carved in fang and claw, most lives pass like grains of dust, unnoticed by the wind. But some leave marks deeper than footprints, echoes that never fade. Among these, one name is spoken only when the sun dips low and the air thickens with silence. Maka. He was not born in the glory of morning light, or celebrated by the songs of migrating herds. He came from the places the cameras avoid, where bones speak louder, and voices in silence is sharper than teeth. While others roared to assert their presence, Makari emerged without a sound and air in the rhythm of the wild. A shadow that did not ask to be seen. He had no pride, no lineage, no place, and yet his story would unravel the foundations of a kingdom. Not by storm, but by stillness. Not by war, but by watching. Maka. I was born where no maps bothered to name, to a lioness too old to lead and too tired to follow. She had been cast out from her pride, jaw trembling from disease or disobedience no one knew. What is certain is this: she gave birth alone, beneath thornbrush and vulture wings, with only the taste of dust and the scent of blood for company. From his first breath, Makari inhaled absence. There was no warm, grooming tongue, no chorus of siblings wrestling nearby. Only the ragged breath of a mother who knew she would not last long enough to teach him mercy. His first nourishment was not milk, but marauding flesh from a half-dead warthog she dragged across the dirt, her eyes already dimming. He learned to survive before he learned to walk. By 2 months, he hunted mice. By 3, he fought a honey badger. By 5, he had already lost the tip of his left fang and earned a slash over one eye. These were not scars of bravery, but of necessity. When no one shields you, even fear must learn to strike. And yet, Makari did not become feral, became deliberate. He watched. He memorized the movements of prey and predator alike. He lingered at the edges of other prides, not to join, but to study. Spectral, a ghost cub forged in hunger and mud. At 9 months, his mother vanished. He did not search. In his world, loss was not a tragedy. It was law. Makari grew in silence, wrapped in dust and distance. While other young males fought over scraps and displayed their power with wild roars and wide stances, he slipped through territories like a breeze through broken grass. He did not challenge. He did not claim. He simply moved, feeding where others had fed, drinking from waters he never marked. The rangers who occasionally glimpsed him dismissed him as a wanderer, a nameless nomad among dozens. But soon, patterns emerged. Prey disappeared without a sound. Vultures circled carcasses that bore no signs of struggle. All traps meant to track lions caught only emptiness. Over 6 months, Makari appeared in 3 separate camera traps. He looked different, starved in one, drenched in another, and in the last, utterly unrecognizable.
Oh.
Some said there were several lions. Others began to whisper of a myth in motion, but Makari was only one, and that was enough. He had no land, yet he slept within borders others had killed to protect. He had no pride, yet feasted near lionesses who left him scraps. He had no name, yet his scent began to unsettle even the hyenas. There was no roar, no signature, only a presence that unsettled without sound. Once a lioness was found dead, no signs of struggle, just a perfect bite to the throat and a single oversized paw print nearby, dragging slightly as if the lion limped. Makari limped, not from weakness, but from memory. The ghost of the South was no longer hiding. was listening to the north, where the rivers carved through golden dust and the sun cast its longest shadows. Rolled Notch the lion with the black mane and the blood of dynasties. He was not a leader. He was law. His roar rolled across valleys like thunder no one dared to answer. His sons patrolled vast regions. Scent bent the will of elephants. Notch was everything Makari was not known. Revered, feared. Where Makari moved like a rumor, Notch marched like a regime. His claws shaped boundaries. His growl wrote lineage. Scientists documented him. Filmmakers romanticized him. He was the perfect image of power, majestic, brutal, enduring, but empires do not age gracefully. Beneath Notch's strength, time had begun its slow erosion. His roar required a second breath. His eyes lingered longer on the grass, searching for what he once sensed without looking. Still, no one challenged him, not because he remained invincible, but because his myth still weighed more than truth. He ruled without affection. Sons who faltered were cast out. Lionesses who questioned him were ignored until starvation made them return. To defy him was to vanish, and so none tried, until Makari. Makari did not declare war. He did not challenge the borders or roar his intent across the plains. He arrived like drought, quiet and visible at first, but devastating with time. One morning, as Notch patrolled a southern ridge flanked by two of his grown sons, he saw him. Makari stood alone beneath an acacia tree. He did nothing, said nothing, simply watched, head tilted slightly, sunlight catching the fractured edge of his broken tooth like a ceremonial mark. One of Notch's sons growled, stepped forward. Notch stopped him with a low grunt. He walked a few paces closer. The tension thickened. Makari didn't move. Then he turned, walked to a nearby bush, and urinated over one of Notch's scent marks. It was not a fight, it was a message. She turned away without reaction, still clinging to the belief that ghosts don't deserve thrones. But everything changed. Makari began to appear near waterholes before Notch's pride arrived. Near carcasses others were meant to claim, near resting grounds once thought sacred. He never attacked first. He never chased. He was simply present, calm, steady, relentless. Notch's sons grew restless. One followed Makari. Days later, his body was found near a ravine, blood dried in the dust, no opponent in sight. Another returned limping, his eyes wide with something worse than pained out. Makari's violence was not in numbers, but in precision. He fought like a scalpel, not a hammer. Fast, deliberate, final. While other males tore flesh to dominate, Makari removed threats like a surgeon, each blow a calculated fracture in the empire. Prey migration shifted. Hyenas avoided zones Makari had touched. Lionesses went missing not in death, but in decision. Some were later seen in neutral zones, alone or beside a silent figure with a heavy step and a scarred eye. Even the ecosystem responded. Rangers watched with confusion as movement patterns distorted. Old boundaries dissolved. The Serengeti held. Its breath. Still, Notch remained. He patrolled more, rested less. His roars lost their edge. Once, he was spotted eating alone, no sons, no followers. Just an aging king with fading glory and something moving in the tall grass behind him. Makari did not roar, did not advance. He waited. The final morning came without warning. No cries, no migrations, not even vultures in the sky. The Serengeti felt still, unnaturally still, as if the land itself sensed what was about to be rewritten. Makari stepped into the heart of Notch's domain, without haste, without fanfare. Not to conquer, to be seen. Notch was waiting. Alone. No sons, no lionesses, no followers. Whether he knew the end had come, or still believed he stood above it, no one can say. What followed was not spectacle. It was erosion made visible. The two collided. Once. Twice. Again, Notch roared, as he had 1,000 times before, but the wind didn't answer. Makari stayed silent, jaws aimed low, claws swift and cold. Blood darkened Notch's mane. Whether for Makari or time, it no longer mattered. In the end, the old king did not fall. He sank. Hours later, rangers found him beneath an acacia, breathing in fragments. There were no marks of triumph, only exhaustion. They sedated him, moved him. He died that night. Makari was not seen for days. When he returned, he walked slower, not from injury, but from weight. Notch's empire did not resist him. The lionesses watched, wary, but did not flee. The young males kept their distance. Makari did not rule, hovered. He had not come to build a kingdom. He had come to break the illusion that one could last forever. His tooth remained broken, his silence intact. And so ended the age of kings, not with a roar, but with a ghost. If stories like this move your awe, Untamed, an unforgettable subscribe, because in this channel, we don't just tell wildlife stories, we unearth legends. The wind still remembers. Turn on notifications and walk with us through the silence, where shadows still leave tracks.